My wife and sister are upstairs helping Mary Eliza with the birth of our fourth child. It's been quite a day. There's been quite a bit of noise upstairs.
Mason, you have a daughter.
A daughter!
Finally a daughter.
Oh, Mary finally has her daughter. How wonderful.
Yes, oh, I knew you would be so glad.
Do the boys know they have a sister?
Well, we thought that you should tell Donald and Duncan. Now, Fergus is sleeping in his crib.
How is Mary Eliza?
Well, she's doing very well. Miss Amy really gave her a time, but she'll be fine with a few weeks' rest.
Eleanor, I could not have done anything without you here. Thank you so much.
Oh, I would not have missed it for anything. And then now I'm going back to see that baby.
Oh, please tell Mary Eliza I love her. Would you please raise your glass to the birth of my daughter, Amy Blanchard Graham, born this evening, December 30th, 1853. Hear, hear, hear. Hear, hear. Not only is this a birth of a daughter, I would like to tell you what I've been working on for a number of years. I've been working on the construction of an academy for the young men of Louisiana. Recently, Governor Walker accepted the committee's report to have the Seminary of Learning here in central Louisiana. I'll read the letter from the committee. To His Excellency Joseph Walker, Governor of Louisiana. The undersigned commissioners appointed to select a site for the State Seminary in the parish of Rapides on the north side of the Red River, etc. Here it is. We have made a choice of the Pineywood seat belonging to Mrs. E.R. Williams. Mrs. Williams was the mother of my first wife, Esther, who died many years ago in childbirth. Let me continue. Containing 438 acres of land, more or less, and improvements thereon. Situated on the north side of the Red River, about 3 1/4 miles from the bank of the river opposite the town of Alexandria. Let's see here. The land is elevated and in a healthy position, good spring water, shade, timber for building, the whole tract of land with improvements, $3,190. About $7 an acre. Not at all exorbitant for the state. A welcome price for my mother-in-law. It was her land, a very nice location. We are all pleased. All of which is respectfully submitted by your excellencies, obedient servants, J.P. Davidson, Henry Jackson, and R.N. Sibley. The legislature approved our site and the selection of a 7-man board of trustees. While away in Virginia with my family, I was elected vice president of the board of supervisors. Well, when I returned from Virginia, I found out I had also been elected to oversee the construction of the seminary from cornerstone to capstone. Let me tell you, friends, don't leave town if the government is planning your future. There were a number of demands put on the founding committee. One of them, we are not to permit the seminary to be subjected to the control of any religious denomination. Not the Catholic side, nor the Protestant side. This is a secular institution. So here with the birth of my first daughter, we bring an end to 1853. I can look back with satisfaction and forward, especially with the founding of the Louisiana Seminary of Learning with hope for the future.
This is only the second time that I have been to Tyrone, and the first time was so full of life. And this time, Mary Eliza has died. Her throat infection was so severe, nothing could be done for her. And her child, only 2 years old. What a sad state of affair for Mason, left now with 4 children. Well, I am a widow to the eldest half-brother of George Mason Graham, George Mason. I am a widow now, and I am very fond of those children. And so I will have all the time to devote to those children, and I think I can easily operate Tyrone. Mason has a full schedule. He plans meetings. He hardly takes time to eat with the children. He does everything that he can.
Excuse me, Eleanor, I told you I don't have time to have breakfast with you and the children. I must go out to the seminary. They're going to lay the cornerstone to the building today.
Lay the cornerstone? You just laid your wife to rest 3 days ago.
No.
Change the date for your health, if nothing else.
March 25th has been selected for a number of months. The governor and many legislators are going to be here. I have to go there. I have to be there.
George Mason Graham.
Oh, Eleanor, you know Mary Eliza would prefer it this way. You were
But
so
the
wonderful.
children.
It would be better if I stayed busy for the children. The boys, I'm building the seminary for the boys.
But how can I manage the children if you won't even stay home and be a father to them?
Oh, you were wonderful with the children. I think that they need you. They need you more now than they need me, and I can stay busy. How grateful I am to have Eleanor in our lives. Her husband was my half-brother, George Mason of Gunston Hall in Virginia. She is wonderful with the children. I trust her to handle them. She is wonderful in society and also wonderful at managing the home. What she doesn't understand is I do not need anyone to manage me. Now I must go and lay the cornerstone for the foundation. Thank you, Eleanor.
What kind of man refuses to take and change his schedule when his wife has just died? I cannot comprehend that. He keeps planning meetings, giving speeches, everything, while we are in mourning. I simply wish that he would just pay a little more attention to what's important in life. We have to observe the time periods. We have to step back and show our mourning. But him, oh no, I'm sure that this is another meeting. Please be advised, there will be a board meeting following dinner at Tyrone Plantation, June 15th, 1855. All members need to attend. Signed, Captain G. Mason Graham. Oh, good heavens. We're not even out of mourning. Mason, how can he do this? This is the 10th. Only 5 more days, and he wants us to put on a dinner. The cook will need new provisions, and I'm sure that the senator will be attending. I shall calm myself. I have done this many times for my husband in Washington, and I know that we can do well, even though we are still in mourning. Oh, hello. I'm so glad to see you this evening. And Mrs. Manning, I told George that it would simply be unfair to have a dinner and not invite the ladies. Don't you agree? Absolutely. There were many times when my husband, George Mason, was having parties, and I would insist that the ladies attend. The gentlemen may smoke and interrogate each other, and the ladies repair to the parlor to entertain themselves. And I believe that this practice has staved off many an offense that might have ended in a duel. The presence of women always calms things down. I would like very much to have everyone understand that I am perfectly willing to continue this meeting, and the ladies will simply disappear when it is necessary for us to go.
Oh, Eleanor, thank you. Was this 5 days' notice? Was this a wonderful meeting? Was this a wonderful lunch? Would you please give Eleanor a little hand? Eleanor just does this time and time again. Eleanor, we're about to begin the meeting. Thank you very much.
Oh, well, all right, ladies. We may go and entertain ourselves now. Gentlemen, we shall not interfere.
Thank you again, Eleanor. Gentlemen, welcome to Tyrone for this Board of Supervisors meeting. Governor Tom Moore, our president, could not attend this evening, so he's asked me to oversee the proceedings. I want to start it out with a little bit of reverence, though, if you don't mind. I have some bittersweet news. Alexander T. Wood, the architect for our palatial seminary, as you see the picture on the table, I've left you all a picture of the seminary on the table. He passed away last year. We are going to find other architects and builders to help us with the final construction. But if you don't mind, in reference to Alexander T. Wood and in reverence to the moment, would you turn it over and please join me in the first stanza of Amazing Grace.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
Save the papers. We might do that at every board meeting. We have hired a Mr. Crutchfield, a local builder and contractor, to begin laying the foundation for the school. What else? Oh, we are here to begin a search for the faculty and the superintendent of the Louisiana State Seminary of Learning. I propose a classical tone to the school to include English, history, and science, but ruled with a military discipline, somewhat like Virginia Military Institute. We need a superintendent with a military background, a military schooling, only tempered by civilian life. Do we have a motion? Would someone give me a motion?
I move.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I second the motion.
Thank you. The motion carries. Thank you, lady. I knew we shouldn't have gotten you out of here. All right. So we will advertise for a superintendent with a military school background. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We will include Eleanor now.
Mrs. Penny fell asleep in her chair and just about slid right off to the ground.
Oh my gosh, please give her my apologies. Would you?
All right, I will do so. I'm not sure why, but I will do that for you.
Oh, yeah.
John Brown. John Brown. That despicable man. Just getting people all upset over anti-slavery, and in such a violent way. Well, what does he know about slaves?
Thank you for the mail. Oh, the hurricane swirling dangerously to shore on 11 August 1856 killed more than 200 people vacationing at the Ile de Nair.
Oh, it was God's will that you were not there last week.
Thank you, Ellen. Looks like there is a lot of support for James Buchanan for president. This damn Republican Party is going to split the ticket 3 ways.
Still working.
What in heaven's name?
What is it?
Crutchfield has been laying bricks now since February. Sam Honore stopped by the seminary on the way back from the Piney Woods. Listen to this. Sam says the building doesn't appear stable. Crutchfield hasn't bothered to correct the mistakes when he knew about it.
Sam Honore is a merchant, not a
Sam-
builder.
Sam knows what is what. He has more sense than a lot of the educated men I know.
You know, you couldn't make him sit down if you nailed his feet to the floor. He is always doing something. Work on the plantation, work on the seminary, work. Now,
That damn Crutchfield. There is a major construction flaw in the main building. He knew this. Why hasn't he fixed it? The damn thing will not hold. It has to be strengthened. Another delay in the construction. I should have been out there every minute, every day since the construction began.
and what could you do? It's been so long now.
I'm going to write the Corps of Engineers, Pierre Beauregard, and I'll ask them to examine the problem.
Well, the holidays are coming. I doubt that you could get anything done this year.
No, I'm determined that the seminary will open January 1st, 1860, and no later. I'll get this letter to Beauregard. If I contact him now, he can finish and come up here before 1857. If I wait, it may be another year. More mail. More letters. Oh! Politicians. The state legislature has moved to add a board of visitors to the board of supervisors who already talked to the board of trustees. So we have the board of trustees being told what to do by the board of supervisors, and now we have a board of visitors telling the board of supervisors what to tell the board of trustees. Politicians, everybody wants to get involved. I'm offended by their heavy-handedness. You know, they thought to appease my intellect with the appointment of this so-called board of visitors, this board of intruders. It will only serve to establish another delay in the progress of our work with bickering and complaints. Am I right? Am I right? Yeah. Who was back there? Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm going to write the legislature a letter. I refuse to review my commission as a supervisor. I'll still be a trustee. Which I have been since the inception. By heavens, we will see if this new board of visitors gets convened or not. In the meantime,
Some things never change.
It's 1859 now, and Mason is so excited that the building over in the Piney Woods is almost finished. He's become quite good friends with William Ferret from New Orleans, the architect who took over after Mr. Wood. You know Mr. Ferret also did the state capitol in Baton Rouge, and he and Mason are in constant contact. They have a contractor from Kentucky who is actually going to complete the project. But Mason goes over there every single day to supervise. He just refuses to change his schedule or to do anything that he can just to put it into that hobby that has begun to consume him.
Eleanor, I've had a response from the advertisements for the new superintendent.
Oh, that's what all of this is. Look at the mail you have generated.
This is it. This is the one, though. This is our man. He's going to be a professor of engineering, and he will be the superintendent of the Louisiana State Seminary of Learning. William Tecumseh Sherman.
Well, he sounds Indian.
No. He's from Ohio, and he was educated at West Point. He was a second lieutenant in the Florida Indian Wars. And listen to this, Eleanor. He was in California serving with our brother Roger Mason.
Oh, wonderful. Well, perhaps he is okay.
Well, he's also friends with Braxton Bragg. By the way, we will be meeting with the Board of Supervisors again.
Well, when?
Tomorrow.
Mason!
All right, day after tomorrow.
Mason, you have to learn that you cannot go around creating state meetings overnight. I mean, cook has to have provisions. I have to check all the bedrooms. And, oh my goodness, George Mason Graham.
Gentlemen, thank you again for coming to Tyrone for another meeting of the Board of Supervisors. At your disposal on the table, you will see a list of school furnishings and supplies. Well, I have it. That will be necessary for the opening of the school. There is also a list of the 6 finalists applications for the superintendent of the Louisiana Seminary. I have appointed a committee to head up the furnishings, to purchase the supplies, and to plan the opening day of the school, January 1st, 1860. Now, we have 6 very qualified applicants for the position of superintendent. I know Sam is very interested in who I am going to prefer. William Tecumseh Sherman. That's a funny name, but it's one I hope you will long remember. And to read his letter.
Sir, having been informed that you wish a superintendent and professor of engineering for the Military Academy of Louisiana, soon to be opened, I beg leave to offer myself for the position. I submit no testimonials. However, since graduating from West Point, I have been shipwrecked twice, had an arm dislocated from a horse, had some rather hard admonitions, generally not sounding well in history, have heard a few Indian shots where powder was decidedly scarce, so that, on the whole, my career has been more civil than military. But if you care to know more about me, I refer you to the officers of the Army from General Scott on down, and in your own state, to Colonel Braxton Bragg, Major G.T. Beauregard, and Mr. Richard Taylor, Esquire. Yours respectfully, William Tecumseh Sherman.
By God, he's my man. He's a man of sense. I'm ready to vote, George.
All right.
But we have more applications. We must read them all.
Oh,
Well, Governor, you can read them, but let me out of here while you are reading. When you get through, call me and I'll come on back in and vote for sure.
it was a lively discussion for a number of days, but the Board of Supervisors did agree to offer the position of superintendent to the man from Ohio, William Tecumseh Sherman. Sherman wrote me that he would be arriving in August of 1859. There were a couple of men arguing over everything. I have a feeling they'll be a thorn in my side for a while. In the meantime,
it appears that Mr. Sherman will have a lengthy stay with us. Even though they are about to build a family home, his wife refuses to come. Oh. I was just telling my friend here that you served in California with my brother-in-law, Roger Mason.
I did, ma'am, although I was unaware of the connection until recently. Please accept my appreciation for your help with my accommodations, ma'am. I'm looking forward to meeting the faculty and beginning my work.
Well, you are certainly welcome to stay as long as you like, Mr. Sherman. And your wife, will she be coming soon?
I have hopes that she and the children will visit once the school is opened.
Well, she'll really find it quite pleasant here. We have quite a nice society, although perhaps it's not as refined as in Ohio. Well, I would love to give her a party when she comes.
Very kind of you, ma'am. Thank you.
Well, I had best go check on the children.
Eleanor, please, the children, I can't handle them. Colonel, or Bill, how are you today?
Well, sir, thank you.
Good. Have you been able to check on the guns?
I have, sir, thank you. In fact, I bought the desks, the supplies, and the weaponry for the school. It's been ordered, it's being shipped up the Red River from New Orleans, and should be in place by the end of December.
That is wonderful. I have asked you here to meet the other faculty. They have been settling in where they can, and each one of them has military experience, except for our youngest, David Boyd. He is energetic, he's intelligent, and he happens to be from Virginia, like me. So,
And I'm sure he'll be a real hit with the students, sir.
he is also single, so I have a feeling he'll be a hit with this society as well.
Well, I would hope that that can be postponed indefinitely if possible, sir.
I hope so, I hope so. Bill, the Louisiana militia has appointed you a colonel. I will be addressing you as a colonel this evening.
Thank you, sir. General?
Oh, That is an honor that I think is a very heavy burden, but I will try to get used to it.
You'd be surprised how quickly men can get used to it, sir.
So please, let me introduce you. I'd like to first introduce you to Henry Valas. Professor Valas is from Hungary. He is a mathematician, an Episcopal priest, and our senior professor.
Welcome, Professor Valas.
We have Mr. Francis Smith from the Virginia Military Institute. He is our chemist and other assigned duties.
Pleased to meet you.
Back here, Monsieur Bert Saint-Ange from Paris. He was educated in Paris, and he is our professor of modern languages. Many people here are know Professor Saint-Ange because he's been here in Rapides Parish for a number of years.
Plaisir, monsieur.
And this is the young man, I was telling you about, David Boyd, who I was telling you about. Ancient languages.
Professor of Ancient Languages?
Yes, sir. Gentlemen, Colonel William Tecumseh Sherman.
Gentlemen. General Graham. The legislature has collected an eclectic assemblage for the Institute, an Ohioan, 2 Virginians, 2 Europeans. I wonder what diversity we'll see among the students.
No. Planter's sons, we want no diversity in the students themselves. No. That is why we must have a military discipline to run the school. That is what I would like to talk to you about this evening. Would you care to join us, Mr. Boyd?
Thank you, General. I would be honored.
Dearest Ellen, there is not a single room or house to let near the seminary in these piney hills. One of the professors has rented a summer house that is near freezing in the winter weather, which he catches through openings designed for summer breezes. I'm sure we will find something. Please be patient.
Mr. Sherman, I didn't know you were in here, but I really do mean to say that I will be happy to give a party for your wife when she arrives. My husband George and I entertained numerous times in Washington, full dining rooms full of politicians.
I assure you, madam, politics and politicians are my least favorite topics. Dearest Ellen, I feel little interest in politics, and certainly I'm glad to see it realized that politicians are incapable of governing the country. They may agitate, but cannot control. Let whoever be elected, the same old game will be played, and he will go out of office just as did Pierce and Buchanan, with their honors sunk and lost. I only wonder that honorable men should even be interested in public office.
I had quite a reputation for giving very entertaining parties and balls.
And she was the belle of all Virginia.
George, you gave me such a start.
Oh,
Well,
Eleanor.
I think
Wonderful.
that you have to excuse me.
Thank you. Colonel, Bill,
Sir.
excuse me for disturbing you. Good to see you again today.
Thank you, sir.
I'd like to get together with you and Boyd this evening to discuss some things, but I must go out and check the cotton crops. November weather can turn and we can lose all our products.
I understand completely, sir. Thank you. Ellen, the planters about Alexandria are rich, but the town is a poor concern indeed. Nothing like furniture can even be had here. Everybody orders theirs from New Orleans. I've taken a room in Mrs. Fellow's Tavern in Alexandria. It's a common rate concern, but I do have a good room opening into the parlor. For the present, I will spend a number of days here at Tyrone with General Graham before taking quarters in one of the rooms at the seminary.
Colonel, the faculty is not all agreed that the school should be a military school. Professor Balas has not agreed with this.
I would hope that a military curriculum and a classical studies could be joined under the same curriculum. Balas may be exempt from teaching military studies if he chooses.
There are two other matters of concern.
I don't think I know what they are.
We are to accept wealthy planters' sons who may only be able to speak English and know basic mathematics. How can we expect them to learn the ancient languages if they have only had but the slightest education from their mother's knees?
That is where military discipline becomes critical. It's the military discipline that will train and enforce their studies and understanding the curriculum. It's the military discipline that will be crucial to the success.
I hope you and General Graham are right about that.
Professor Boyd, let me ask you, have you been as concerned as I by these rumors of succession?
Yes. What are your thoughts?
We must remain impartial. The Institute cannot be seen as creating a military force against the Union. In fact, I can only hope that these rumors of secession die down. Let me be clear. I will remain here only as long as Louisiana remains in the Union. I have been afforded the rank of colonel, though that seems a little superficial. I would hope that that can impose the necessary discipline in order to ensure that the students are able to adhere to the military discipline and the curriculum of the Louisiana State Seminary and Institute for Higher Learning and the Military Academy. This newest name for the school is just much too laborious and much too cumbersome. It was revised most recently, I believe, to accommodate everyone who had an opinion. My recommendation, though it was overruled, was that they simply call it LSU. there is still no home for Ellen and the children, which causes me the greatest loneliness.
Colonel, I am quite pleased with the rules and regulations that you've put together from the Virginia Military Institute rules for the Louisiana State Seminary of Learning and Military Academy.
Thank you, sir.
As usual, there are some in our parish who are against the military character of our academy.
Not surprising, sir. I don't think I've yet seen any three men in the same room who can agree on much of anything.
That is why gambling is so popular. Every man with an opinion about a horse can lay down his money.
And if he loses, he blames the horse.
That's right. I believe we will have a very successful seminary with you at the helm. We have an incredible staff, the equal of any in America. Your military discipline is allowing the boys to learn, the cadets to learn, excuse me.
Thank you, sir. I've been writing to Ellen and her father, Mr. Ewing, urging that they be reassured about my health and my accommodations. Ellen continues to rail and express her dissatisfaction with my decision to come here.
Quite understandable. But once she comes to visit, and she visits the school, I think she will be very satisfied with your position and anxious to live here.
I can only hope, sir. Thank you.
I will leave you to your work.
Ellen, since my last, I have been out to General Graham's. He has a large plantation on Bayou Rapides, about 9 miles from Alexandria. There I met with the professors to make rules for the new institution after the model of the Virginia Military Institute. We took their regulations, omitted some, altered others, and innovated to suit our circumstance here. As a result, I have it all to write over and prepare for the printer. Ellen, the building for the school is absolutely palatial. Much too beautiful for a simple military school. It is a very good site with the fine pine woods and oak trees, not to mention the numerous springs. Catch the post while there is still time.
All of this talk about anti-slavery and the state forming part of a new confederacy, all of this is most alarming. The Alexandrians initially were very much against secession, but now Governor Moore is adamant that we should join the new confederacy. Mason and I are staunch Unionists, just like Sherman. What is this all going to mean for the state school?
Dear Father, the Colonel has gone to be with his family and then to New York to purchase munitions for the cadets. He trusts me to look after the academy and to supervise further construction of the buildings, the furnishings, and grounds, guarding the institution in his absence. I am profoundly gratified by his friendship and trust. I have a zeal for the institution and would do most anything in my power to protect the education the Louisiana cadets receive here. It is a lonely place in the summer without the students and faculty about. General Graham visits me often, and his leadership has been the force behind every detail of the academy. While William Sherman has been away, General Graham has responded to the vicious attacks by Mr. Manning, a trustee and member of the Board of Supervisors. I am well. Give the family my love. David Boyd.
I have just written that memorandum regarding the actions of Thomas Manning. He has been a thorn in my side from the very beginning. Mr. Manning's whole course of conduct, his verbal profession to the contrary notwithstanding. Quite the actor, quite the lawyer. Mr. Manning shows a deep-rooted hostility embittered by personal pique to the military government and character of the school. He has undermined everything Colonel Sherman and I have tried to achieve. To the superintendent, he seems to have a badly concealed personal, sectional, political antipathy. He hates Sherman. I have tried to shut my eyes to this and to think differently, but the conviction is irresistible. If I were a vulgar man, I would use much harsher language. The sneering tone and manner in which he said to me last winter, when I submitted to him the inspection of my draft for an act for the organization and government of the Seminary of the Military Academy, "Sherman is to be a colonel, is he?" That was enough to satisfy me of this, without 1,000 other evidences that he has given. A member of the Board of Supervisors, his boast that he had advised Dr. Villas, orally and in writing, to disobey an order from the superintendent, thus striking at the very roots of all government of any kind in this institution. But that is not the end of it. And then telling us that he had that morning insulted Dr. Villas for not following his advice. Can you imagine such a man? His added remark that he had found out he was wrong. He was found out. That's what happened. Now that he had found he was wrong, he had to apologize to Professor Villas. And this is a member of the Board of Supervisors. How do you think he apologized? Our superintendent was with Dr. Villas when, in a most imperious and dictatorial tone and manner, amounting in the whole to a prohibition to them to take any further step in regard to these matters in opposition to his wish. If the measures put forth by Manning and his cohorts is voted into existence, I tell you now that these are but the entering wedge, blow by blow, on which will be struck until the present superintendent is driven from it, and the board withdrawn.
My cousin finally resigned from the Board of Supervisors, but not the Board of Trustees. He remained there, and he continued to have a good friendship with Colonel Sherman. They were all concerned with the supervision of the school, what the students were to do, what states' rights even meant.
General, if you'll forgive the familiarity, you and I have become good friends over the past year. In fact, our correspondence has been as active as it was when we were first discussing my coming. I wouldn't be surprised if the postmaster thinks we've begun courting.
Well, Bill, I don't think I can express to you the gratitude that I have for what you've done with the seminary this first year. It has been a tremendous success because of you.
It's been an honor, sir. Thank you. In fact, I've ordered the arsenal, the weapons and ammunition. They're coming up the Red River from New Orleans and should arrive by the end of December.
That's wonderful. Have you had any trouble with the cadets?
By and large, sir, the cadets have been well behaved.
If
That's
you
good to
gentlemen
hear.
don't need me anymore, you will please excuse me, unless you have something for me to do.
In a moment, I may have a thought, ma'am.
Please.
Dearest Ellen, I have my share of petty troubles and annoyances, but thus far I have got along. I won't be boastful how long I can keep it up, though, as the boys here are willful and govern their parents despotically. They perform tricks on some of the professors, which naturally irritate them. In fact, one morning this week, when the professor of mathematics met his class, he found his chair and all the blackboard thickly smeared with hair grease. It took the institution half a day, with only 2 servants available, to cleanse them, and then they had to be repainted. Sir Smith and Manning are continuing to do everything they can to undermine the character of the school. Manning has even told a student, a cadet, that he should obey, or disobey rather, a direct order. They've gone so far as to encourage cadets to risk expulsion by defying their commanders. He's even gone directly to the legislature in an attempt to undermine my position at the school, sir. We must do something.
I can handle that. I'll write a letter. But we have more trouble on the horizon. If Lincoln is elected president, then there will be trouble. You know, Lincoln, we are both believe in the sanctity of the Union. We do not want any secession. We are both Unionists. You know, we're lucky that Lincoln is not on the Louisiana ballot. So, if it comes time for election, I do hope that you go ahead and vote, just so there won't be any conspiracy that you are a Unionist.
Understand, sir. Understand. In the meantime, though, sir, I do have a request. I was going to ask if Mrs. Mason would be so kind as to help us organize a ball for the start of the new school year.
Oh, Eleanor, would you please?
Oh, well, I would be absolutely. I think that I would. Oh, and when will it be?
Day after tomorrow.
What? When? Oh, well, I have much to do. How could you not tell me before? But I will be happy to do it.
The ball isn't for 3 months.
You know that, and I know that. But I love to see a woman with a hobby. Let's retire.
I know that the ball will be a success, Mrs. Manning. Your suggestions have been inspired. And your daughter is so beautiful. If she knows those dances, every cadet will want to dance with her. Oh, it should be a wonderful thing. And of course, Mr. Sherman told me that the ball wasn't for 3 months yet. so I still have plenty of time to plan. That Mason does vex me. It's a wonder I survived his teasing. Why on earth does he do that to me? I mean, he makes me feel like a chicken bluffed up running away from the fox. I just don't know what else to do. And he wishes me... He's only played a joke, I know. Well, when the gentlemen arrive, we will toast to the new school year.
That is a wonderful idea.
Oh, all right. I know you prefer white. And here, you'll get a chance, Mr. Sherman, to try this muscadine wine. Oh, Mason does. It's a little sweet for me, but it's quite tasty, and I know that you'll at least enjoy it once.
To 1861.
To the second year of the Louisiana Military Academy.
Hear, hear.
Hear, hear. Interesting.
How's the school doing?
It's doing well, sir. In fact, General, the young professor of modern languages, or ancient languages rather, has done a wonderful job managing in my absence, and we're going to be well prepared for the new school year. We started with 64 cadets, and I'm confident we'll double that number. We've had a tremendous outpouring of letters and expressions of interest. Moreover, the legislature has approved the $25,000 that will allow us to build 2 new professors' homes. So we're in excellent shape, sir, and we will have an arsenal of deposit.
Oh, that is wonderful news, wonderful news. Again, Lincoln has been elected. It is a terrible time for us. Talk of secession, I don't know what's going to happen with that.
We can only hope, sir. We can only hope.
I think that's Senator Louis Tejada coming up.
Mason, I have important news.
Yes.
We are to secede from the Union. Louisiana has voted to join the Confederacy.
Oh, those fools voted to secede.
Excuse me, sir, I must leave.
Governor Moore is not a man to vote against. His stance is hard and final. General, I must go and ready the parish.
Thank you, Senator. Good day. More letters.
What would you do without them?
Oh, some Christmas letter from Bill Sherman.
Oh, really? And what has he got to say? Is he bringing his wife down finally?
No, I knew that secession would bring an end to that. He resigned. Governor Moore has refused his resignation, but nothing will keep him here except allegiance to the United States. I can't say as I blame him. There is no telling what will become of us now. Thankfully, David Boyd is interested in keeping the institution open as long as possible. However, students will be leaving to join the fight. Most likely, David Boyd will leave also. Would you like to read the letter?
Please. January 20, 1861. My dear friends.
Yours of yesterday was read with painful interest last night. Of course, now that reason is powerless and the truth cannot be reached through the clouds of mistrust, suspicion, and mutual accusations which envelop us, we are drifting together, no one knows whither. Sir, I have advised Governor Moore that as I occupy a quasi-military position under the laws of the state, I deem it proper to remind you that I accepted such position when Louisiana was a state in the Union. and when the motto of this seminary was inscribed in marble over the door, by the liberality of the general government of the United States, the Union Esto Perpetua. Recent events foreshadow a great change, and it becomes all men to choose. If Louisiana withdraws from the federal union, I prefer to maintain my allegiance to the Constitution as long as a fragment of it survives. Thus, my longer stay here would be wrong in every sense of the word. I beg you to take immediate steps to relieve me as superintendent the moment the state determines to secede.
Resolutions of the Academic Board, April 1st, 1861. Resolved that in the resignation of the late Superintendent, Colonel William Tecumseh Sherman, the Academic Board deem it not improper to express their deep conviction of the loss the institution has sustained in being thus deprived of an able head. They cannot fail to appreciate the manliness of character which has always marked the actions of Colonel Sherman. While he is personally endeared to many of them as a friend, they consider it their high pleasure to tender him in this resolution and their regret on his separation and their sincere wish for his future welfare.
General Graham, the storm is upon us, and we must each to our own ship. I hope I may meet you again, but if not, please accept my assurances of my great respect, affection, and admiration, and my earnest prayer that you and yours may long survive to look back with satisfaction on the time we started the seminary in the vain belief that we were serving the cause of our common country.
Well, now we can hope for a peaceable secession, but I believe a tragedy of immense proportions has become upon us. Family against family, brother against brother. But I have work to do. We all have work to do. In fact, Eleanor, I'd like a meeting with the Board of Supervisors tomorrow night. Please tell Tanya to keep my dinner warm. Thank you.
What? George Mason Graham? Evidently no one else thinks they need a bow. Between Graham and Sherman. And Sherman wrote in his memoirs of the many people that he left in Louisiana, and he was instrumental in assisting after the war several of the cadets from the academy, Braxton Bragg, and even Beauregard. He went out of his way to help these people, and we have the letters that tell us how he instructed the troops not to harm any of the structures along Bayou Rapides or the Seminary of Learning. And therefore, ladies and gentlemen, we've been able to enjoy this lovely home tonight. Thank you all.
I want to express my gratitude to the audience. You didn't throw anything this year. Thank you very much.